been to an event like this before. Our SLAM team is comprised of members of our creative writing club, the Bullpen at USU. Jennifer Steiner is the advisor and does an excellent job, and she's been coaching and helping our team get ready. I'm also one of the coaches, and I'm obviously the MC for tonight. We've been doing this for 5 years, and we have a couple of veterans on the team this year, and some veterans from other teams in the audience tonight. Millie and Brittany are here, and Sean as well. Do we have any others I've missed? So this is awesome to have some of you guys back here tonight. Let's see. So Nate, Matt, and Andrea have performed for us before, and then we have some new members that we're really excited to have on the team this year. I'm Shannon Bellum. I am a lecturer in the USU English department, and I'm proud to teach for creative writing and composition. And I'm also really happy to have been a part of Helicon West for so many years since it started. I don't even know how long this has been going on. 11 years maybe?
Since 2005.
I'm not going to add that up. It's a long time. And we have moved all over the valley, and we have found a home here at Logan City Library. And so we want to thank Logan City Library, our sponsor, and Joseph Anderson, who's done so much work to help this event take place here at the library. We thank Cafe Ibis, and we always have free coffee that Star and Mitch go and pick up. So if you'd like some coffee, go ahead and grab yourself some. It's in the back. We want to thank the USU Writing Center and its director, Star Colebrook, who's also the Logan City Poet Laureate. We have a wonderful community, and we're really glad to every, a couple of weeks be able to have our open mic readers from the community also read for us. So if you would like to read, anybody is welcome to read or sing, or just come up and look cute for 7 minutes. And then we'll clap you off. If you would like to sign up for open mic, the sign-up sheet is in the back. And this will be a relatively short performance because we don't have a big team this year. So we do encourage our open people to sign up for open mic. If you don't want to be filmed, you'll need to tell our filming people that you'd like to shut off the camera when you're up here reading if you don't want to be filmed. This is an uncensored event, and so be prepared for anything that might happen. Yeah. Another announcement is there's another creative writing event that is free and open to everyone, and that is the title is Communicating Science Through Creative Writing. And the presenters will be Star Colebrook, our laureate, Millie Tullis. Will you raise your hand? Millie is in the audience here. And Riley Jensen. Does Riley happen to be here?
She's not here.
Okay. So the three of them will be presenting. That is in the library on campus, 154, Wednesday, March 28th, 11:30 to 1 o'clock. Light refreshments will be served, and there will be some writing. So free write prompts and the opportunity to write about science. All right, so let's go ahead and get to our featured readers. I'll introduce the first 4 poets, and then when you come up, please remind us again of your name and do your performance, and then after those 4, I'll come back up again and announce the next 3 slam poets. Just want to say a little bit about our team. Every year is wonderful, and this is no exception. They're just fantastic people, fantastic poets. They have a variety of voices and styles. That each one of them is unique and brave and beautiful, and we're so happy to have all of you guys here and doing this. This is great. So right to it now. Our first 4 readers, Adrian Thomson, Andrea Nelson, Matt Campanella, and Katya Pilkington. Okay.
I'm Adrian Thomson, and usually I go into a bit of prologue before I read a poem, but hopefully this one describes the thing that I'm talking about well enough in itself. So that's always the case, you know, that's always the goal. Yeah, of course. So my piece is called, wow, this is actually really confusing. Okay, my piece is called, they're called hand trucks. That's the title. Redundancy there. Why is it when I see them in the corners of janitors' closets or fix-it garages, or standing in rows at Lowe's and Home Depot, and anywhere that something needs a lift, you know? Do I feel the need to turn to someone close and ask, what do you call that metal thing with two wheels, a single shelf at the base, a rounded back with 3 rungs, and one single short handle at the top? Can you believe the answer I get most times is Dolly? What is that? It's a musical. It's folly. Dollies have 4 wheels, are flat, and live in hotel lobbies. The upright ones are called hand trucks. I should know. I worked with one closely at the mechanic shop my dad owns. For 5 of the 45 years he has owned it, and he calls them hand trucks, so I should know a bit. I spent summer days in gravel against my desires, wheeling his 2 duct tape covered tires. Yeah, it's a he. Back and forth over concrete cracks and extension cords and big empty gaps in the long wooden boards and giant jarring bumps in the frame of each door, always carrying things around and then waiting for more. So it shouldn't be surprising that a friendship formed. One day, I couldn't find him in the pouring rain, so I thought of the dead president, William Henry. Harrison is his name. Whenever I need him, I call Harrison, by warming his wheels by the furnace. Harrison, by the time machine, listening to the whir, hiss. Harrison, in a truck, loaded up to the pit, missing. I taped name tags to his chest and rubes tear him off, and they never put him back in his predefined spot. They always put him behind the pressure washer where the water's too hot. But I know that he loves the job that he's got, especially when something needs lifting. A single frayed rubber handle attached to metal tractor green, orange spray paint at the top to be easily seen in the dust gray, cement brown, Napa yellow and blue. After years saying Harrison, my dad does too. He says, "Get your Harrison, move this tire by the Hey, I think Harrison could lift this up a bit more. On your way back, grab Harrison, I've got you a chore." And I run off to find him, exalted. I still see them. Left waiting in loading bays under the stairs, rusted since the 70s behind the Sinclair, up on the hill with 1 tire, no spare, jostling in truck beds exposed to the air, waiting eternally to move this over there. People who say Dolly just do not care. There are some people who know the difference, like you, but others just don't know, which sucks that my dad calls them hand trucks. So I do. As for the people who say hand carts, don't get me started. Those were the things used by William Martin.
Thanks, Adrian. That was awesome. You brought a great energy. My name is Andrea Nelson, and I've been doing Slam Team. This is my 3rd time. And my poem is called, I'm just going to jump right into it, An Amateur's Guide to Helping a Mom Who Just Lost Her Son. When you hear the news and you feel your heart clump in your throat and you can't breathe, when your head goes light like a pink balloon whose string slipped from its child's fingers and into the wind, that is what psychologists call denial. As your dizzy head deflates into an altered reality, consider his mom. His mom will get an astounding amount of phone calls and cheesy casseroles in the first week that she won't have the appetite to eat. And it will be overwhelming, but that does not mean that you can't text her. Maybe let her know that you are there for anything she needs. Maybe send her a selfie that you took with him 2 weeks before. Maybe even offer to bring her a collection of frozen meals that turn to mold in a fridge, that won't turn to mold in a fridge, that she doesn't have the energy to clean out. When she goes to the funeral and she hugs you, don't be the one to break away first. Don't begin with small talk like she hasn't just lost her son. Don't say bullshit like, he's in a better place, or everything happens for a reason. Let her guide the conversation. Be there for her. Continue to be there for her a month later, when the casseroles stop coming. When you remember he told you his family had a border collie when he was young, ask if she wants to walk your dog with you. You don't need to talk about him. You can kick your rain boots through soggy leaves and remember that he got his eyes from her. Unclip your dog's leash and hand her the neon orange tennis ball to throw. Watch the laugh lines on her face deepen when your dog wiggles on the soaking ground begging for pets. If she talks about him, listen. If she doesn't, that's okay too. When you say goodbye, you can ask if she wants to go on more walks with you. On his birthday, find her name in your phone with a memory in mind. Like when you spent the final 2 hours of 2012 listening to Jingle Bell Rock on repeat because you said it was okay because it's still December. She wants to hear shit like that, promise. Weeks later, swim through the endless stream of pictures on your phone. Stumble across a video of him lounging on your corduroy couch with a serious expression on his face. Watch him ask the camera, what's the difference between a hippo and a Zippo? The video shakes as you say you don't know. His face breaks into a grin and he says, one's really heavy and one's a little lighter. Replay that goddamn stupid joke over and over until you stop crying and then send it to her. After time, she will still feel like he's just at college, but her storm will get calmer. She will clean out the fridge and throw out the 7-month-old casserole dishes. You will only cry once when you hear Jingle Bell Rock on the radio. She'll go on less and less muddy walks with you. Thank you.
Hey, so my name is Matt Campanella. I've also been doing this for 3 years, and if you know me, you know I don't believe in podiums, so that's why I'm like kind of out here. I don't have mine memorized because it's kind of a fuck up. That's kind of what this poem is about. So this poem is called Foundations for a New Throne. Sometimes when I speak, a flock of doves froze freely from behind my teeth, and lately, the feathers keep getting caught in my esophagus, causing a coughing fit into a loosely gripped microphone, negative feedback amplifying my complete lack of confidence, so I fell head first. This piece only exists because I pushed myself off a cliff and needed something to do on the way down. I'm a part-time poet who typically takes the graveyard shift, but lately, I haven't been feeling it. So I just call in sick, and I feel like a full-time fuck-up for not being able to push past this writer's block blood clot in my fingertips, because as a perfectionist, I cannot subsist on sick days. So I've stepped off the edge in hopes that the jagged rocks below will split open my chest, and maybe I can take a deep breath of something other than despair. And I suppose I owe the audience an apology. I'm sorry in advance, because this poem isn't as cohesive or concrete as the pieces before, and I'm not trying to spark any brains with any mesmerizing metaphors. I'm not trying to make connections to make anyone feel like they belong except for me. So this poem is a selfish endeavor, written like a prescription, but inspiration is not a pill you can take, it's a bitch, so I'm gonna make it mine. I'm not trying to make up an excuse for my selfishness, but I swear to God, it feels like my mind won't stop running with scissors, severing ties with the self, sinking into a pit of loathing, but I'm growing complacent with this hatred. So I guess the only reason I wrote this is to try and shake myself from this stasis. I'm stuck, and I'm caged, and I don't feel the presence of any sort of savior, only a manger of ink, and a blank document that says I've fallen from grace. Cast away the crucifix and replace it with a pen, shatter the panel of stained glass, raining down mosaic of multicolored razor blades onto a page. And maybe this confession will carry me down into a pit of snakes, but what can I say? At least the constant hissing would provide some sort of response when I pray. And I can't carry the burden of pretending. Not right now. Not when I'm already so tired from revising this rotting apology and confession. I feel so sick because I haven't written really at all in a year, and I'm lost, and the only sense of identity I've ever had is this poet, this persona who used to be able to stomp and shake the stage, and now I feel like I've lost it. Lost any sense of love for myself, any God that I once believed in, lost it all. So I guess it's time to confess to my sins so I can try and move on from this. I don't know who I am. And I pretend to be someone else because I don't know who the real me is, because I'm too busy trying to connect every point in my head, running wild with a needle and a thread, stitching together things that shouldn't connect, causing my stomach to feel like it's mixing cement. I'm losing weight and getting sick because I can't fucking eat, and I'm getting sick and going insane because I can't fucking sleep, and I keep forgetting that part of living is stopping to just breathe. I don't know who I am. But fake it till you make it is what they say, so I'm gonna pretend like I am someone smart enough to take my own advice. To live like it's my last day and love every fucking second of this fucked up life. And if God won't help me, I'll be my own God and rise from this tomb I've sealed myself in and weave worlds together with only my words. Stitch in some blood, some ink, and some stars and write something I'll force myself to be proud of whether I like it or not. And I'll perform it with such force that it shakes me from this rust and this rot, and I may never be happy with the poems I write from now on, and maybe I'll never top my best ones, but I'll keep writing. And being my own God, if not for me, then for the bright eyes that believe that with the sunrise by my side, I can still do something great with this one wild and beautiful life. Thank you.
So I'm Katya Pilkington, and I guess here's my poem. To my first kind of, sort of, almost boyfriend, I'm sorry. I couldn't figure out how to like you the way you liked me, I'm sorry. Awkwardness is a feature I carry with me, like the scar on my chin when it's split open on cracked cement. I never figured out how to cover either of them up. I wanted to be able to say I had gone to a high school dance, so I'd have an excuse not to go again. You were the only one I knew, so with halted words and downturned eyes, I asked you to senior ball, my first real date. In a dress that expanded from me like an unruly teal cloud, hair pulled up, curled out, an imposter in my own body, I saw the inside of your house for the first time. You, in a black tux and a tie that matched my dress, looking as stiff as I was uncomfortable, stood there while my mother pinned on the boutonniere because the pin was sharp and my hands uncertain, and I wasn't going to start off the night by stabbing you in the chest. We talked in the corner above the dance floor to escape the press of bodies and noise. I doodled in the condensation of the windows because swirls were easier to draw than eye contact to be maintained. You took that dance as the go-ahead for more dates. I couldn't voice a reason not to say yes. I changed my t-shirts for a blouse, sneakers for high-heeled combat boots. You made time for me. I could at least look presentable. That third time you asked me out, I said yes even as my chest clenched. My stomach existed, simultaneously risen in my throat and dropped below my intestines, but I wasn't brewing butterflies. Your theoretical, mushy romance feelings rose above arachnophobia on my list of things I cannot deal with. But I had already said yes. That third date in the darkened theater, I looked over, and there it was, hand curled upwards on the shared armrest, fingers wriggling like a five-legged spider. I placed down fingers that barely reached the first knuckle of yours to smother the struggling creature. That was our first and only handhold. Your hands were not the only parts of you larger than mine, a head taller and twice as wide. I felt
like less of a person standing next to you, shrunk down, diminished, a copy sized 80%. I wrote an outline on my phone of all the things I needed to say, sentences I wrote and rewrote, but I couldn't find the words to end a thing we didn't have a name for. Our only define the relationship moment was when I killed it. I'm sorry for any hurt I left behind. I'm sorry that I didn't have the words I have now. I've stopped trying to stuff myself into a mold I never fit and like the people I'm expected to like. But I'm done trying to hide my scars.
See, I told you guys they were awesome, right? Great job, all of you guys. That was just awesome. And special thanks to Jennifer for, yes, pushing and getting out these kids.
They did. Andrea organized them. They did.
And Andrea, okay, well, I don't care. We're giving a hand. Remember to sign up for open mic in the clipboard on the back if you want to open mic. And our final 3 readers tonight will be Michael Woller, excuse me, Sonny Schultz, Nate Hardy. Oh.
Baron. I'm too not a fan of podiums. I need space to work. So, my name is Michael Woller. This is actually my first time doing this kind of thing. It's really hard to follow up against all these really amazing performers, but I'll do my best. All right. I always feared that I might get to this point. My car just slipped on a patch of black ice driving through a canyon. The wheels are screeching towards the edge of a cliff. My hands are white with a dead man's grip on the steering wheel. In hindsight, my windshield was too foggy to see where I was going, but now it's so clear to me. I'm headed for my death. It's so funny, because all these 20 years, I've been so fucking stressed about what I should have been doing before I die, but now I'm going to die anyways. I thought I was driving towards my dreamland, the place I would get all of my dreams to come true. But here's the end of my road. It's so obvious to me now. My dreams were not my own. They were millions of people's. I was never going to accomplish any of them. All I wanted to be was remembered fondly, but I don't even know if I'll be remembered at all. There are hundreds of people who are better at writing the things I care about. There are hundreds of people who know more about the things I know about. My ex has already found a person who is better at giving the things she wants. All my friends haven't reached out to me in months. I'm not even sure if they are my real friends. I'm going to die a lonely fool. I thought life was supposed to be what you make of it, but every adult I met told me I couldn't make it how I wanted to. I tried so hard to get where I am, and now my car is crashing into a metal barrier and is about to plummet into an icy hole. My English teachers always told me that I was never on par with others, but now I'm not even going to get the chance to prove any of them wrong. They all made fun of me for writing melodramatic poetry. Well, I tried to do something else, like study human anatomy, but the only thing I could take away from that was that my body was never built to win anything. The DNA in my cells is perfectly lined up to create a depressing human life. I was sad as a kid. I was sad as an adult. And now I'm going to die sad. But not just sad, I'm going to die frustrated and furious that everything I ever cared about is going to pour over this fucking cliff. I wonder if all that's waiting for me at the bottom is an infinite black hole. I think that's my biggest fear. I can't believe as a kid I thought that disproving God's existence was the greatest feat of mankind, because all I want to do now is keep existing. I think I hear my car hitting the bottom, the sound of my engine crashing, and the sound of the aluminum exterior of the shell is shearing off. But when the cacophony settles, I look around, and I'm not dead. My car is inches from the cliff, inches away from my demise. Against all odds, I survived, but I keep replaying this moment over and over in my head, working myself up into an emotional frenzy, overanalyzing my own death to try to find some meaning to it. But I think it all comes down to this. The bad doesn't always get better. Your life of shit could be what you're stuck with until you die. It's just how it is. No one asks for life and death. It's just a road that we are put on and told to keep driving, and left up to us to figure out where the fuck we are actually headed. All you can have is naive hope in a world that hates naivety. No, I don't know if I'll ever do anything significant in the grand scheme of things. I might just end up dead in a ditch tomorrow, so let me yell and get me off this chest. Because I know one thing, I can stand up over and over again against all those who dismissed me and all those who thought I wouldn't amount to anything, and fucking try. And keep trying, and keep trying, and keep trying until I reach that final patch of black ice. No matter where you think I'm headed, I'm going to keep trying to drive to my dreamland, so fuck all of you.
We just have to make sure the cord doesn't get.
Oh, yeah, don't pinch it. Also, if anyone wants to carry the mic, you can. You don't have to, though.
Okay, so now.
I'm in.
Perfect.
Hi, I'm Sunny Schultz. Yeah, I memorized the poem, but I'm like super nervous, so I don't really trust myself. But this one's called A Manic Monologue. I stay one step ahead of the knife in my throat by swallowing a gun whole, reloading a clip of pill canisters so I can compete with the screech in my ears. There are sickly phantasms shaking at the perimeter of my dreams, and I am sure of nothing except that they're coming for me. But I'm ahead. Ahead of the demons, ahead of the people who tell me I should take my meds and wait. If I'm going to sleep, let it be for a month or 3, long enough to cleanse myself of this disease and push me back into a purely depressive state. The air tastes slow to me. It can't keep up with the patter of my heartbeat that pales in comparison to the pace of my words. Right now, I can implode a poem with poison metaphors and make you think that everything you heard was something more, something high, bright, divine, entirely mine. And yet, I can't seem to keep track of the lost time, keeping my breath in line with the stopped clock's missing chime. Breathe, 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 they say. You're only human. Family, lover, psychiatrist, all repeating the same phrase. My mind finds offense in every word. They're insincere, out to get me. Each thought is drawing me closer to complete detachment from reality. But if anyone can conquer these things, it's me. Something in the back of my head starts to fall, the cresting euphoria dipping into a dramatic nosedive that no amount of caffeine can prolong. A panic dance ensues to extend the manic in me. Toss out $100 tip, prick my skin with ink-soaked needles, pace all night, pound out pages of mathematical proofs, anything to keep me moving, anything so I can't feel the blackness behind my eyes. Denial won't stop the countdown. It's inevitable. From the very first time, I can't deny depression a chance to run its fair course all over me, smoothing waves of mania into a monotone landscape of gray. The contrast is crippling, but it'd be suffocating anyways. Flayed alive by thoughts in the form of torn butterflies winding around my wrists, their majesty is gone, leaving me to wonder how it ever came to this. Lying in bed like a strung-out junkie, screaming, sobbing at my mind for another hit. I'm an unstable accident waiting to happen again and again, each shift determined by the bipolar pendulum hanging over my head. Cycling down follows up, it's done. And I'm no longer a giant of genius. Wrenching the gun from my hands, depression seizes my psyche back, pushing the barrel to my head. So I smile when people tell me they're glad to see me return from my spiraling manic track. I'm pathetic, broken, and loathing of myself for being unable to maintain a life of little sleep and waking dreams. Is this me? A cycling specter without purpose or mission. Am I really the girl with the rotten heart and depressed cognition? Why can't I be the weightless beauty who explodes stars with her gaze? Because she isn't real. Part of me understands that, but I still wish that I could encapsulate her confidence and save it for some other day. I wish I could carve the better parts of her onto my rib, Make her my companion, wear her like my 10 commandments, in unfailing engraving to guide me beside myself, neither her nor she taking the lead, just me, forging a path, taking my own hand to show myself a better way to be.
Hey guys, my name is Nate Hardy. Some of you may have heard me read before. Some of you may know me from moving the podium a few minutes ago. I've done the slam team a couple years in a row now. It's always a really wild time. You guys are always a great audience, and these guys' poems have just been so fun to work with. And if you're really jiving with the dark energy, I'm sorry, I've got a little bit of a lighter thing to read. I don't want to call it a love poem. It's more of like a romantic appreciation poem. Anyway. It's called A Portrait of You in 12 Pieces. 1. Every time you hiccup, a baby duck pops into existence. I remember one afternoon last fall, we were driving up Federal Avenue and you were filling First Dam up with ducklings, and we took off our shoes and gave the time away feeding them breadcrumbs, and you looked like a song standing still in the wind on the dock. 2. The finest soil, sunshine, and summer breath in Georgia couldn't have made more perfect peaches. That's right. 3. In the next 30 billion years or so, the Andromeda Galaxy is supposed to crash through our own and weave a new family of constellations into the ring of our night sky. Once, we kissed like that, over a dish of sunny side fried scrambled whatever eggs, to some singer's voice breaking over the words, "This is our home." Now, a voice only breaks like that when it carries more honesty than the throat can handle. And if that sounds cheesy, that's because it is, but so were those eggs, and they were bitchin'. 4. You are any given cat ever. 5. There's angel oak woods in the south draped in Spanish moss. There's wild cherry blossoming in the north, white like a Sunday morning, and you are always suspended between their branches. Listen. 6. When Felix Baumgartner stood at the top of the sky, on the doorstep of the celestial, taller than anyone could have dreamt, about to take the largest jump in human history, I have to imagine there was something home about being alone in that perfectly quiet ocean, about being a speck inside of a yawning blue god, about having the entire world laid out before him. I have to imagine the difficulty in trading a beating heart during that one tilted step, for the terror of weightlessness, the ground and all of its lovely shattered people roaring up towards him. The faith that he had in gravity is what I have to imagine Amen looks like. 7. Amen looks like your eyes softly closed before falling asleep. What is amen if not incomplete? 8. In a dream, matadors have circled round the most sacred places of you, with lances glinting pretty in the light and capes like shadows, waiting to see who could be the first to draw blood. I know this because I was the one. But a few years ago, during the running of the bulls in Pamplona, the final bull refused to chase those fleeting scarves. He refused to play death across the cobblestones. No, the final bull trotted circles around the corral and insisted that the matadors come to him. In that moment, though they are still coming, he is still ready to put up a fight. 9. I have watched you speak. I have watched you speak so quickly, trying to apologize yourself into worthiness, that your lips chapped. But darling, through the cracks shone nothing in need of forgiveness. So, 10, remember, you are falling. You are falling just as fast as the light will let you, without letting go your heart. Your heart is a holy parachute, doomed to die trying to catch up to you. 11, trying to catch up to you was a beautiful dance that I tried learning, but I got 2 left feet and a lot of problems. Thanks for showing me. 12, the barefoot music of wind chimes, spilling over backyard fences and into the streets at midnight before a long, heavy rain.
Way to go. Good job. Can someone bring me the